Hello and welcome to Forever Motorsports. Here for some breaking news. Huge concerns have been raised in the Andretti negotiations with Formula 1. For several weeks now, speculations have surrounded Andretti and General Motors and their entry into Formula 1. Having passed the necessary checks and requirements imposed by the FIA, talks have now begun with the American entrant and Formula 1 management. Generally speaking, Andretti has faced sustained opposition from the existing teams. For almost 2 years, team principals have questioned whether an 11th team is necessarily in Formula 1. Moreover, the issue of added value is often asked when discussing Andretti's bid. In a sport where politics is so pivotal, the environment towards the American group has been very hostile. There is no set deadline for when Formula 1 must reach a decision on whether to accept or to deny their application, adding further uncertainty to their process. Financial issues are also cited as a significant sticking point. On paper, Formula 1 is in the healthiest it has ever been financially. The budget cap has also seen the likes of Mercedes and Red Bull go from spending $400 million annually to around $150 million. As such, it is inaccurate to suggest that Andretti's entry would jeopardize any existing team. Unfortunately for the US outfit, this doesn't stop teams from complaining about prize money. The reduced slice of prize money teams will receive if Andretti joins is another area teams often cite as an issue. While the current teams have no formal say on what Formula 1 management's final decision will be, their resistance will likely be a key factor in swaying CEO Stefano Domenicali's final opinion on the matter. And critical to the negativity towards Andretti is the fear for some teams that adding an 11th squad to the grid could risk their own future. Williams team principal James Vowles made it clear at the recent Qatar Grand Prix that squads like his were still on the knife edge when it came to finances, so losing prize money and value would not be a good thing. My responsibility is to 900 employees within my company, he said. If you go look at Companies House, you can go look it up for Williams. We've submitted it now, and you can see that we're lossy. Very lossy. In fact, compare it to 21 to 22, you'll see that losses are in the tens of millions. Compare that to 2023, which you won't see, but I'll guarantee you that it is multiples above that. As Red Bull team boss Christian Horner told Sky Formula 1 recently, I think that when you look at how Audi has come into the sport, they've acquired an existing team and an existing franchise. Should it be different for the others? I think that's where Liberty and the FIA need to get together and come to us with a collective position. Because you cannot have one rule for one and another for others. Obviously, money makes the world go round, and that's what every team will be acutely sensitive of, and the franchise value being diluted. Suddenly you go from 10 to 11, so of course the stakeholders, the shareholders of each individual team, will have a concern about that. The key thing for Andretti is whether those concerns are enough to convince Formula 1 management not to give it the deal that it wants. But would Andretti's arrival and the subsequent reshuffling of the commercial rights income really have that much of an impact in making things worse? Especially if it stumps up the $200 million dilution fund payment first. Formula 1's exact prize money split is secret, with its details enshrined in the commercial element of the two Concord agreements. However, using information that is available in the public domain, including the published accounts of both teams and Formula 1 owners Liberty Media, it is possible to ascertain a pretty good idea of how the commercial pot is split up. The best estimation is that, according to the terms of the Concord Agreement, if we judge that the final payment pot is $1 billion, here is how the payments would shift with an 11th team being brought on the grid. If we had 10 teams on the grid with a total fund of $1 billion, the top team would get $140 million with 14%, second place would get 131, third place 122, fourth 113, fifth 104, sixth 95 million, 7th, 87 million, 8th, 78 million, 9th, 69 million, and 10th, $60 million with 6% of that prize pool. Should an 11th team arrive, then the figures would shift slightly, with everyone's percentage of the pot being reduced. This means that those who got a bigger slice of the pie will stand to lose the most. The projection for 11 teams based on $1 billion are as follows. For first place, they would then get 13.3% of that prize pool and get $133 million, down $7 million from $140 million, with only 10 teams on the grid. Second place would then receive $125 million, third 116, fourth 108, fifth 99, sixth 91, seventh 83, eighth 74, ninth 65, 10th 57, and 11th being $49 million. Comparing the two tables, it shows that the arrival of Andretti, if the prize pot does not increase, would trigger a $7 million loss for the Constructors' Champions. The team that finished 5th would lose $5 million, while the team that was placed 10th would go from $60 million to $57 million, a drop of $3 million per year. However, there have been some positive developments for Andretti. Despite the opposition among existing teams, it is ultimately the decision of Formula 1 to accept or deny them. In this sense, the above grievances are not necessarily detrimental to their aspirations. Additionally, there are legal implications of the decision Formula 1 takes. Simply put, Andretti has the option to take legal action if Formula 1 management do not accept their entry for 2025. Of course, this is not an ideal path for any party that is involved. Still, it gives the American team an ace up their sleeve. If the sport wants to avoid the public backlash and scrutiny that a legal case would involve, reaching some kind of compromise should be their priority. New information has emerged though that sheds some light on the dynamics at play between Formula 1 management and Andretti Motors. According to sources, Formula 1 has asked General Motors if they would like to partner with a team other than Andretti. This would be a direct snub from the Formula 1 management to the American team, underscoring their resistance to an 11 team joining the grid. If Formula 1 has indeed asked General Motors to join the field, but with another team, then it cannot be said that Andretti is not adding value to the grid. At this stage, the outcome of negotiations is uncertain, and it is entirely possible an agreement will be reached within the next few months. Andretti is operating under the assumption that they will be in Formula 1, as they have already built a car according to the 2023 speculations, and they are already testing it in their wind tunnel in Germany. Regrettably, however, it seems that Formula 1 is still very resistant to Andretti joining the field, and there is the potential for the saga to become more drawn out and grossly unpopular. Formula 1 must tread carefully though if they are to avoid another bad PR episode for the sport. Certainly very interesting to hear all of these key points that are the sticking points in Andretti's entry into Formula 1. Will they be granted that entry into the sport, or will there be these sticking points that hold it back from moving on to an agreement with Formula 1 management? We certainly hope that it does not go a legal route to get them onto the grid in 2025 or 2026, but if they do not get their bid accepted by Formula 1 management, that may be the only avenue that Andretti does have to get their team onto the grid in 2025 or 2026. Thank you very much for watching me. I've been Reece here on Forever Motorsports. Do be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to check out all of our other content on our channel for more Formula 1 news. That has been it for me here on Forever Motorsports. Cheers.